out from anything actually being done. I guess really the only thing I can say that 3-4 years from now, there's not going to be 8 houses left along Fossil Creek. There may not be any houses left along Fossil Creek. All of that land, all of the houses along Fossil Creek, the way the land is eroding, they will not survive for 3 or 4 more years without anything being done. Layla's house, it's unlivable now. Where is it going to be in a few years? We haven't been home after the storm tonight. Where her house may be gone now, we don't know. Sorry, Layla. You can come stay at our house if it's still there. And that's just, I know that, the city's hands are tied with, you're waiting as well on the study, from the Corps and so forth. I guess, what I'm up here saying is just, anything that can be done, to help us in the immediate future, anything would be greatly appreciated because, like I said, we're not going to have homes left to do anything with. There's going to be nothing to save, unfortunately. Guys, I had a lot more, good things I was going to say, but like I said, it's just. Anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker is Layla Caraway.
Well, I'm about done myself this evening, but I want to know how you get in contact with you gentlemen, because I took your information when you were here in January and emailed you several times and none of you responded. So I would like to I'll give you my call.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I do have one more. What is the legal issue on the road?
Would you mind coming? Legal issue on what?
The legal issue on the road.
Oh, okay. The question is, what is the legal issue on putting rope around the area there? There was some concerns there. Wayne, can you address that?
The question that I was asked was whether or not the city was going to be creating any liability by putting up a fence or a rope in the area. And the concern I had on the part of the city is we don't want to do anything that's going to imply that the area is safe just because there's a rope or a plastic fence or something along that nature that's put up. I was addressing the council. They asked me that they were concerned whether or not, since it's private property, if the city takes action on the property, are we inheriting liability for a situation that we all know is a problem right now. And my answer was putting up signs, in my opinion, could only help matters. It would not impute any liability to the city. It gives a clear warning to people that we believe the area is not safe. Trying to do something beyond that, we need to make sure whatever we do is not going to imply that the area is safe, and we're not taking action to imply that we're taking control over the problem and assuming responsibility for that. And that was the issue I was trying to explain to the city council about that.
I don't know if that answers you completely satisfactorily, but that's yeah. I was that was my suggestion, and later on we had some concerns about that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to do about kids doing things they're not supposed to do. That's been going on for a while. I mean, I guess we can try to get some police down there or something to look around there and check.
We'll try and improve it. We'll look at all opportunities.
Okay. You. Okay, I'll allow it this time. I still got some other speakers. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of that going around, I'm telling you. Yeah. We've aged some tonight. Next speaker is Trey Fowler. Okay. And Bob, okay. Well, you're up, it turns out. You're up to bat. If you don't forget.
I think one of our attempts is to kind of seek out some cooperative effort in trying to save what investment people have made, both down in the mobile home park and those that have made the investment up on Fenway and Bridgeport Court. And I think I heard a little bit about there may be some exception to our area, that may be a possibility to go ahead and start looking at some options to fix the Fenway Bridgecourt area. Maybe not completely, but so I want to be clarified on that. But secondly, is to find out, because we are not in the perfect world. It was a great way to frame the question, but we will not survive 3 to 5 more years of research and study and things. But is there some sort of help you might be able to provide to us for temporary emergency bank preservation or something that we can do? Because what it's doing is it's cracking, falling off. Ours is different. Ours is erosion related. We didn't flood out. Ours is just falling off. It's that shale, and of course the shale gives way. Now the earth is coming down. Is there some kind of modification we can be given on a temporal basis while we wait for some answer or resolution to this?
Nope. Okay. And can you identify yourself, Carl, for the record?
Yeah. Carl Grassel, 5752 Bridgeport Court.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Good question. Don't know if we've got a good answer, but we'll see here.
Well, we've got an answer. Unfortunately, the Corps does not have any authority to provide emergency stream bank protection to private property.
Okay. Mr. Tidwell, did you have any additional comments?
What will the Council of Governments will review what other available funding streams are out there.
I appreciate that.
And report back to the city as quickly as we can on the possible. It may be a FEMA. It may be other categories of funding, CDBG, other things that may be appropriate for this type of activity. And we'll try to get that information to you as quickly as we possibly can.
Okay. You'd be a hero if you could do that. Yeah.
I can tell you it's not going to qualify for CDBG. That ain't going to work.
Mr. Sutton.
Yeah, you guys may want to stay closer.
And while they're coming, and one thing I neglected to point out, while the agenda's got Fenway Court, this is really kind of a broad area. There's several streets that are addressed up there. I think Mr. Grassel's street was Bridgeport. And I think there's another one just to the west. So it's really kind of the whole area
Falcon
that we're
Ridge.
kind of addressing. So just as long as people understand that, I don't mean to just pick on the Fenway Court folks.
Right. It's been thrown around a little bit that if the worst were to happen and we began to see houses begin to, the erosion actually get up into the foundation of the houses begin to sink or slide or do whatever they're going to do under those hydrologic conditions, that at that point other financial vehicles will come to play. I've heard that homeowners insurance may be one of those, that FEMA may have a hazard mitigation fund that applies to some of that. Corps of Engineers, I've heard someone say that they may even get involved with that type of thing. And so I'm wanting to know the funding, the funds that may exist if we get into a nightmare scenario of a house sinking or slipping into the creek. What avenues? I mean, number one, we're going to have demolition, funds to demo it. Is that a city responsibility? Is that a FEMA responsibility? How is that situation dealt with, funding-wise?
In terms of our discussion this evening, much of our information is going to be associated with the Upper Trinity and the general investigation that's going on through the
Sure.
Big Fossil Creek study. And I wish I had the information at my fingertips, but I'm going to rattle as many cages and shake as many trees as I possibly can to find out to answer that question. I'll just need more time and the ability to do the research to get back with you, because there are different funding streams through the state. We talked about the potential of, locally controlled funds, whether it be a CDBG or things like that could may or may not be eligible. We'll just have to find that out. The state, through their hazard mitigation, might have some avenues to approach. I just don't have that data in front of me. But I will try to research that and get that information back to you as quickly as possible.
Okay, our city staff really needs that. We need that in order to give a good, solid answer to the people in the community. What happened in California when they had the mudslides? I mean, we ought to know what they did to mitigate those, or what they did with the homeowners. Is not that information available? I'm not privy to it, but are you guys?
We can definitely do the research and try to find out what their lessons to be learned from the LA area and where those mudslides occurred in the San Diego and
Sure, because it's a similar situation there. What was given to the homeowners there, and how did they solve that problem in that case? That'd be good if we could have that answer within about 3 or 4 days.
I'll try to do my best.
Okay.
No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah.
I can answer it from the Corps' perspective. The only mission that we have that would be related to that would be when there is a declaration of disaster area, then we have a mission to assist FEMA in terms of, typically it's like when the hurricanes hit and so forth, we have a mission to provide power, water, ice, and temporary housing as directed and funded by FEMA. Otherwise, it does not fall under the purview of our typical core mission for planning and construction.
Okay, I'll be calling Tom Friday and asking him what the answer is from you guys, okay?
Haven't we been declared a disaster?
Yes.
So we've taken that step.
Again, we would have to be directed by FEMA in terms of any emergency and disaster recovery, power, water, ice, temporary housing type thing.
Thanks,
Okay.
sir.
So Tom
Okay.
will take that forward, right?
All right. Anyone? Yes, sir. Yes. Please come up and identify yourself. Yeah, it's a little getting late. We're going to all turn into pumpkins here in about 10 minutes.
Name's Buster Hooper. I live at 5772 Fenway Court. I know Councilman's sitting there. It's a little bit late, so I probably forgot a lot what's been said here, but this is really addressed to the Army Corps of Engineers. I think I'm finding out here. I understand that we have an appropriation that's given to the Army Corps of Engineers. I'm assuming that's for an entire watershed region, though, that study. And then there's sub-appropriations, as you were stating, right?
No, so there's one appropriation for the opportunity.
Okay, but there's sub-appropriations below that for various areas within that watershed study. Is that correct?
There's one budget line item for the opportunity. We,
Right.
as a partnership with COG and the stakeholders.
Okay. But you take that money and then you decide within that region what areas need to be studied, right?
Yes, sir.
Who makes that decision? Who determines the priority? The reason I ask this is we're talking 7 years now. What I would like to know is if this draft, where does the city, Haltom City, stand right now in this study? And is that part of this draft in August? Will it specifically say Haltom City, and will it say Big Fossil Creek
Yes, sir.
in this
It will
study?
be-
And that will be on that.
It will be entirely focused on Big Fossil Creek.
Okay. The next question, you say that engineering, you said that it's at the homeowner's expense essentially right now, that if we need to look, I don't think really I need an engineer to tell that her house is about ready to fall into the creek, but if I want to look at my property, I can bring out an engineer and I can determine, he might say you can put in rocks or whatever like that, okay? But that will be at my cost, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but you need to be involved, though.
If it involves filling in the waters of the United States, we have a
Okay, but
responsibility on the Clean Water.
if it just does the bank, if it doesn't touch the creek, if it does the bank, do you need to be involved?
If it's filling within the floodplain, we need to be involved from a regulatory standpoint.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward and identify yourself.
Mayor, she's the one that has sent us all the information on the floods that have been happening since 1980. This is Kathy Hiles. She sent
Oh,
us all
okay.
emails about
Yes.
things that have been going on down in the lower end of town for quite
Okay.
some time.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate your response, too. Kathy Howes, 2324 Moneta Street, and I remember being at the Shannon Center with City Council and 500 people and COG and representatives and everybody, I believe in 1990. I don't know how many people were there, but it's been a long time. So, and I sent you all my stories of all the flooding. I guess Mr. Cabano mentioned what can the citizens do, because you all are obviously trying to make a push for us. I wonder if we could all band together, the 121 corridor, the Skyline, Dana, they had floods, all the different areas, and sign petitions or whatever we need to do so we can be a voice. Sometimes the people are heard more so. I've got the shakes. I think you need to pass out Snicker bars at 11 o'clock. Let's see. And I'm forgetful too, so. Coca-Cola. Anyway, I appreciate everything, and I would wonder if there's a possibility of proposing that this be a regular item on the agenda so that we can be updated, because this problem will not go away, even if it's just an update.
Well, we've got a regular update on our capital improvement projects, which is what, once a month?
Every 2 months.
Every 2 months. Excuse me,
Every
every
2
2 months. I mean, in the time scales we're talking about, that's probably appropriate. I'm certainly, if there's anything breaking news, well, we would be anxious to bring that to your attention, because that'd be good news. When we're not going to hide good news, we're not going to have bad news. If there's news, there's change, we'll certainly let you know that.
We will make a concerted effort to
Yep.
provide
Okay.
those things, though.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kathy. All right. Anyone else want to talk about the general subject that we've been talking about and around? Okay, it is 4 minutes until 12. We'll close the hearing on Fenway Court and open up the Visitor Citizens Forum. First up to speak is Daniel Pearson, who's the Vice President of HCLEA, and he wants to talk about the ongoing investigation, reference the Chief of Police. Dan, you want to kind of hold off for just a second and let the room clear out.
Bye-bye.
While we're clearing out the room here, I'm gonna read the normal disclaimer here for Visitor Citizens Forum. This time is set aside for any person having business before the council that is not scheduled on the agenda to speak to the council. All comments must be directed toward the presiding officer rather than an individual council member or staff. Each member must limit his or her comments to the subject matter listed on the speaker's request form, and must refrain from personal attacks toward any individual. A council cannot discuss or debate any issue brought forth at this time, nor can any formal action be taken, as it is not a posted agenda item in accordance with the Open Meetings Law. Now, folks, I see that there's some conversations, and I would ask, please, that those conversations be taken out into the hallway so we can continue on with our meeting. Thank you. Daniel, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council, City Manager. Y'all are used to being, the Law Enforcement Association is used to being represented by Chris Reed, which is our president. He's on vacation this week, and therefore I was, being vice president, I have to stand in his place. Basically, I'm going to read a letter on behalf of the association that's present here tonight. We have just over 30 members that were here. I think we only lost a couple due to work and some that were at work. Basically, all members of council already have a copy of this letter, including the city manager and the mayor. Just to go on public record, I'm going to read it as it stated that was emailed to each one of you. To the leaders of Haltom City, the Haltom City Law Enforcement Association is comprised of members from every facet of the police department. We're united with the concern of the future of this department. The leader of our police department has been the focus of an investigation by the Texas Rangers. It is our understanding that this investigation could result in a felony indictment. We are not pleased that the Haltom City Police Department is in the news again, but also acknowledge that the chief deserves the benefit of the doubt until all the facts are revealed. However, the Haltom City Law Enforcement Association feels strongly that the current investigation could bear weight on what changes, if any, are made at the police department until we know what the future brings. The police department is currently seeking to fill the vacant assistant chief position. The Haltom City Law Enforcement Association believes that this process should not move forward until the Texas Ranger investigation is completed and this matter is resolved. It is reasonable to assume that some qualified applicants have chosen not to apply due to recent negative media attention. The Haltom City Law Enforcement Association strives to maintain an accurate image of the Haltom City Police Department as an organization of integrity led by ethics and morals. We believe that this is in the best interest of the department and the citizens of Haltom City to wait for the complete conclusion of the Texas Rangers investigation before any major decisions are made, in particular, the selection of assistant chief. The fact is that the result of the investigation could lead to a change in leadership at the police department, and it does not seem prudent for the leadership to be making decisions that could impact the city for years to come when there is uncertainty about the future of the current leadership. That concludes the letter. I'd like to thank y'all for the time to read it. As you can tell, the meeting tonight was taken up mainly from the floods, but this is a very important issue for the members of the association and the police department, and we just wanted to express them with the council, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else want to speak to the Visitor Citizens Forum? Got another one? Mr. Bob Watkins? Oh, okay. All right. Is that it? Okay. Anyone else have an issue to speak to address the council that's not on the agenda?
Bill,
Thank all of you for coming tonight. Yes, ma'am.
Can I get a point of clarity with the representing officers that we have? I mean, it's a factual statement document, and I'm needing some clarity. It's what I came and discussed with you this morning, Tom.
Okay.
Are we able to ask for any one of them, either Daniel or whomever, they all got it, if they can give us some clarification? Because I doubt the rest of the council knows what I know.
I don't know what...
You're talking.
How can we ask
I
The
think we're
email-
broaching on something that's not on the agenda, Kim. We're going to have
No,
to...
I didn't know if it was factual with their concerns over the future of Haltom City. That policy implementation's a direct result of exactly what they're saying.
I don't think that's got anything to do with the letter they just
Okay.
read, though.
That's fine.
It's an issue, admittedly, but I don't see a
Okay.
correlation between the two.
Okay. Well, anyone else have anything to say? Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry, this was a pretty long, drawn-out affair tonight, and you guys were very, very patient, and we appreciate that, and appreciate the good work you do. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Anyone else want to speak to the Visitor Citizen Forum then? Mr. Fowler? No? Okay. All right.
You're approaching a record here, Mayor. Get him up here. I mean,
All right.
10
Then
minutes.
I'm going to close the Visitor Citizen Forum then and move on to boards and commissions. Item 11 Any resignations of board members?
You
Seeing
got one
none,
there. No,
we'll,
no.
what? We do have one.
Somebody, he was pointing at somebody.
No, this is resignation.
Okay, I seeing none, we'll move on to item 12, appointment, reappointment to boards and commissions. Ms. Reese?
No, I'm paying attention. I've got David McConnell that I need to appoint to the Fire Services Board.
Okay. Any discussion? If not, please register your vote. And that is unanimous. Any other appointments or reappointments? And then we're all in attendance, so there's no excused absence and no executive session. So we are adjourned.